Just wonderful stuff. In Session, Shack and Undecided, 6-music session version of a tune from the Water Pistol LP from a while back, and great to have Michael Head and John Head here, and also Nathaniel Lawrence. You're all very welcome. John, the reason for you being here, and it's great to have you here, is the reissue on vinyl of HMS Fable. Can you just talk us through what's happened there, and on the label you put it on as well?
Well, we kind of, a few years ago, we realised we were getting rights back to our records, really. And people were asking us if they could put it out, or some of our records out. And it all sounded really good until we asked them what was in it for us. And it generally was kind of the exact same answer, not much really. So we kind of just thought, should we have a look at doing it ourselves? So we kind of set the label up, got a website built. And just the idea really is, I know some companies who wanted to put it out, wanted to put like loads of extra tracks on and just bombard, everything they could find onto the album. And our idea is just make them sound as good as possible, good quality. And just as they were as the record, I really don't like hearing, getting to the end of something like, say, you set the scene on Forever Changes, and something else comes in, even if it's Your Mind and We Belong Together, which is a great song.
Well, these records mean so much to so many people, don't they? It's like you say, they become so personal to you that even when you've played an album so many times, whichever your favourite album might be, when a track ends, you know exactly how long it's going to be in your mind till the next song starts, don't you?
Yeah,
and so when you start messing about with that, then it's not right.
No, it's because I thought, You Set the Scene is a perfect example. I'll also, Live at the Witch Trials is a good example. That happened to me with that record as well.
Really? Wow.
It really did, yeah, because something comes in after it, and I'm just like, no, that's supposed to finish there.
Yeah.
And it's it's from your childhood when you first heard them. You set the scene. You sort of fall asleep there, don't you? That's what you're supposed to do, or something, or drift off and go and do your day or something. And it's just, I don't know. So we just want to make them as as best quality as we can get them, and just reissue them. Really, so that's the idea. It's reissuing, and if we find extra tracks, we'll maybe try and find a way of doing something with them. Because there is loads of extra tracks, but that weren't on records.
Did you have the master tapes yourselves, though?
We did. We kind of no. It's everyone's different because our history was a bit.
Yeah, lots of labels.
Lively. Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of words you could have put there, but it's they were all different places in different sorts of states of kind of completeness. So it's been quite tricky getting some of it, and but yeah, but it's coming together. We've got 2 out. The first one was Here's Tom of the Weather we put out last year, and Fable come out this year. So we kind of just the kind of fun to the next one. Really, that's the kind of way we're doing it. Really. And because we for years on Mick will tell you, people have been saying we can't buy records. And I don't think, we've never really tried to buy one of our records, if you know what I mean. And it was like, hang on, you can't. So we just, it was a kind of make everyone happy, really,
There's quite a nice story to go alongside HMS Fable getting issued on vinyl for the first time. That's right, isn't
That's
it?
correct. Yeah, we didn't even realise that. Yeah. To be honest, I didn't anyway. I don't know if you knew.
No, absolutely.
But it's kind of, I can't remember when we realised it. I think someone told us, and it was going, no. It was but it was that time when our vinyl's dead, and we probably tried our best, and I can't imagine we would have let that go easily. But maybe at the time
back in '99, it just wasn't happening. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it was a funny old time, wasn't it?
There's also quite a good story to do with Michael with your Loophole LP from this year, and the tune Coda.
Yeah.
Which is at the end of it, and a fantastic tune in itself, and that relates. It's a follow-on from Comedy, is that right?
Yeah. After we released Comedy, when we were doing it live at gigs, there was a riff at the end that we didn't know where it come from. It just started following at the end of the song. And then it needed to be finished. I started writing some chords around it, and then I wanted to develop it. And in a way, lyrically, it kind of because it was the end of Comedy, it had to be called Coda. And it was lyrically that it started with Comedy, so it's like Comedy's complete now. It's gone full circle, really, in its in its conception.
Yeah. And this HMS Fable also has. Is it the only song you've written together, pulled together? that you've released as Shaq? I'm trying to think.
It's the only one we're credited with writing together.
Are there grey areas in between? You're both amazing songwriters individually, aren't you? And then that one.
He's,
Yeah.
That was the first one. We've got co thingy writing on it.
Yeah, it's a good tune. What's the story behind? Was it a message to yourselves at the time to pull together, or?
Well, you have to ask me.
It was, yeah. We were getting a little bit of stick. I personally was getting a bit of stick as well. Things were falling apart with the record company, and we all needed to pull together. Really, it was so you're right. Yeah, it was like let's all get our act together.
Do you know, it happens when bands go away, and it's just not allowed to disappear. And this is the true story of Shaq, because when we've been talking about Shaq, a session, people are going, all right, it's an archive session. And we're like, no, it's a live session. People are going, what?
Yeah.
You what? Yeah. And so people have been waiting for this for an awful long time. And I had to put on to the social media yesterday, look, you can stop asking now because it is a live session. And the response was incredible. So you must have been aware of the fact that you've always been kind of floating around and people have never really wished to let it go.
No, people say to me, like, about Shaq, about splitting up, and I always say, like, Shaq didn't really go anywhere. We didn't split up. We didn't go anywhere, really. And we've always, me and John were just talking before we got together yesterday. We hadn't played together for years, but it just felt so natural.
Wow.
You know?
I mean, it's bands, I always say bands are crazy to split up these days, because it's like, you know, Status Quo split up, and then the bass player moved to Australia, and then they got straight back together again. Whatever that tells me. But
that's a different sort of splitting up. That's an ejection.
but bands were the reason the word hiatus was created, because you just say we're going on a hiatus, and then when you come back, it's not like, you know, when you leave a party and then you can't get a taxi and you sidle back in again, hopefully nobody will notice you've gone over. It's stupid. It's a hiatus, guys. Chill out. We might be back, and here you are, and people are so pleased about that.
Yeah, and not to push it. Obviously, people get in touch and wonder if there might be stuff that you do together beyond this particular session. What do you reckon?
Yeah, you know, we've it's been great playing together, and as I said, you know, possibly we're going to talk about things in the new year.
Yeah, there we go.
And obviously Ian, our drummer, passed away.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, so.
Yeah, it makes great contributions to your records as well. Martin Duffy's on HMS Fable as well.
That's right.
Yeah,
amazing musician.
Oh, fantastic! What a lad as well. What a beautiful soul.
Yeah. This arrives from I'm not sure who this is from, but it's via WhatsApp. Great to hear Shaq on tonight. We saw Mick at the Liverpool Philharmonic, which was a short time ago. What a great night and a special venue. That was a good show for you. Yeah,
it was fantastic. Yeah. I've only been in there once when I was a kid. It's such an iconic place in Liverpool. Didn't hear any music there. Our school thought it was great to go and watch MASH there, the movie. But actually being on the stage was incredible. And it was to have some strings, some brass, mind-blowing.
Yeah, well, talking about mind blown, I mean, you had the opportunity to be the backing band for Arthur Lee, and you've been talking about Love already. One of the great bands and one of the great characters, but known to be a difficult person here and there. How did you find him? Because it must have been a bit nerve-wracking working with somebody like that, just because you loved the work so much. But how was he as a person?
He was absolutely exactly how we knew he was going to be. We both had this conversation. People were always saying to me, I don't know about with Mick, but a lot of people saying, oh, you're going to meet your hero, it's going to be really negative and it's going to be awful. And my response was always, have you not listened to the words? He's going to be great. And he was absolutely wonderful. He used to phone me up, and you know, my son's called Arthur, you know, it's kind of, and he's met them, and you know, he was, every time he'd come to England, he'd give me a call and say, what are you up to? I'm in Wales. Do you fancy coming over? And it's like, yeah, defo.
Yeah, I mean, that cliche, never meet your heroes, it's just rubbish. Yeah. I mean, I've met a load of people who, you know, I would class as a hero in one way or the other, but yeah, they rarely disappoint.
Plus you knew the chords already as well, presumably, so you're okay.
It was, you know what, I'm sorry for...
Go ahead.
It was such... Because the only practice we had with him was in the sound check in Paris. and he'd sidle over to me occasionally and go, "What's the first chord?" over his glasses, and I'd just go G, and he'd turn around and then he'd sing it like a bird. He just needed the first chord.
Wow.
And he could, well, you know, afterwards he just said, "I haven't played that since 1967 or something."
Yeah, incredible.
He was such a beautiful, humble guy. And
Great,
you know,
great to hear.
Yeah. He knew we weren't. I won't use that word. We weren't messing around. You know, we were trying our best, and he appreciated that, and he was a bit blown away that we knew all the songs. Really.
Yeah, fabulous.
It was just lovely.
We're ready for a couple more now from you, if that's okay with you two.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, three, sorry. We should say that Nathaniel Lawrence is here as well. And
Go ahead, Nat.
Yeah, we go now. And what's the next number going to be? It's one of yours, John, I believe, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's called. Excuse me, just.
That's all right. John's just
Called
adjusting.
Butterfly.
There we go.
I'm going to give it a little try.
Yeah.
Okay.